Hello, yogis. Good Sunday morning. Thanks so much for joining me again. My name's Lorelei. This is Namasturm Yoga, and we're just gonna do a nice little kind of fun at-home yoga flow practice today. So if you haven't met me before, welcome. This is my little home yoga studio here, and let's just start sitting for a first couple of minutes here. Maybe just take the time to roll your shoulders back and down. I know not all of you are joining me live on Sunday morning, but whenever you're joining me, I hope you're feeling like, hey, time to wake up the body. Reach the arms up, interlace your fingers, and just press your palms up to the top of your frame, I guess. Push up. Stretch up. Oh. Feel free to make sound, so you'll hear me doing that. Well, I talk a lot during this practice, but also if you need to sigh out, anything like that that feels good, please join in vocalization. You are in your home, you know what, no one cares. I also have some tea with me here, so if you need to grab yourself a comfy beverage and do that, make sure you're comfortable. Let's actually come to the floor. I want to kind of move to my back and do a few stretches from here. Some of you may have, if you've joined me before, you may be familiar with some of these, like this sequence that I kind of like to do on the floor. We're just going to lift the hips up, coming to kind of a bridge, but it's a small bridge, right? We're not like pulling our shoulders underneath. And then we're going to scroll through the spine and lower back down again, just to kind of warm up the back body. Also, the hips and glutes are getting involved here. Lift up. And you can definitely connect to the breath. I encourage that, throughout. But here for sure, inhale, up. You can use your ujjayi, exhale, coming down. And if you want to add in the arms, now here the arms can arc up away from your sides, overhead, reach the floor behind you, and exhale, come on down. We'll do a couple more like that. Just follow your own rhythm, your own pace. Just warming up. This is the kind of thing I sometimes do in bed in the morning before I even get out of bed, just to kind of wake my body up when I am not yet feeling ready to put my feet on the floor. It helps. It feels like a gentle, and that's what this is meant to be, kind of like a gentle welcome to your day. Let's get our bodies moving in a way that feels good, but not like too boom. We're not hitting it with too much. Let's bring the knees into the chest now. And you can roll your knees around a little bit into a circle, massage the low back. But then here's kind of one that I really like. So curl up into a little ball, rounding. And now try to keep your low back pressed down as you lower your shoulders and lift your legs into the air. Let the arms reach up overhead. So you're making like a right angle with your body, kind of. Mine's more cute. Okay, and then go ahead and come on in. And reach the legs up. And same thing with the flow of breath. So exhale to curl in, inhale to reach out, exhale to curl in, inhale to reach out. I know some people like to do the cold showers in the morning, and I feel like, rolling out of bed and like running out the door with your running shoes and starting a run first thing is sort of the same equivalent of that. I need to warm into my movement a little bit. So that's what we're doing here. We're just kind of getting our bodies used to moving, and then we can add more once we're ready. Let the right leg stay up, take your left leg to the ground, and if it's available, reach for your legs. So this is gonna be different for everyone. Your leg might be here, you're reaching behind your thigh. If you can reach behind the calf or reach for the foot, great, but don't strain. And the idea is the knees straight, it's not locked. So we don't want it bent like that. Well, I guess, if you have it bent like that, that's fine. It's not the end of the world, right? You can do it, what's gonna feel good to you, but we can get a little bit of stretch by trying to keep the knee mostly straight. Go to your point of feeling a gentle, easy stretch. If you feel like you're squishing up your face and breathing hard, that's too much. Do less. Let's switch legs. Other leg up, other leg down. And just breathing. Yeah, you can see I definitely have a bend. I feel like you can feel when you start to get a stretch, and you can continue to straighten from there, but there's no, you don't have to have it completely locked to get a good stretch for the hamstring. You can feel it when it's working. All right, breathing here still. And then we're just gonna roll up. So rolling through the spine, all the way up. And let's actually take a few rolls if it feels good on your back. If it doesn't feel good on your back, don't, but we're gonna try to roll to our feet to a standing forward fold here. Feet about hip distance apart, and just let your upper body hang and dangle. And while you're there, I'm gonna switch to my other camera, which is gonna cover a little more of my room, if it works. Are you kidding me? Continue to hang in your forward fold. Breathing. Soft knees, let your head hang. And we have our back. Okay, so just to say, this live stuff is not always like as perfect as I would like it to be. Let's go ahead and, from your hanging position, stay at the front of your mat, and let's step the right foot back. Left foot stays forward, right foot comes back. And just a nice little runner's lunge. And I also, so my conversation that I just started, I'm also aware a lot of people aren't able to join live at this particular time. So I think what I'm gonna do is just start recording a class like this once a week and posting it around this time, as opposed to continuing with the live, because the live is glitchy for me. I'm just not super tech savvy. Like, I don't have a cameraman. I don't have a crew making sure things go smoothly. I'm like doing the yoga, and if the video or the audio goes out, like, I'm not available to fix it. Let's gently straighten the front leg and just do a little bit of bend and straighten here. You can connect with your breath. So I really do love this Sunday morning wake up. So I guess the thing that I'm saying is, like, I will continue to do it, but I will just, instead of having it stream live, I'm just going to record it and then post it so that you can catch it whenever you are available, and it will make it a little less glitchy on my end, I think. Hopefully that sounds okay. Let me know in the comments if you're watching it, because I don't know, there's like usually like 2 people watching or 5 people watching. So I feel like I get, more people later on anyhow. That's my experience. All right, let's go ahead, step the right foot forward. We're just gonna switch. So step the left foot back, come to this nice high lunge, front knee over ankle, reach through the back heel. It was a fun experiment. I was like, the beginning of 2025, I was like, hey, I wanna experiment with some live and see what happens, see how it goes. I enjoy teaching live. If you do like a live class, however, if that accountability is really helpful for you, I do teach a live virtual class on Monday evenings Central Standard Time. Go ahead and straighten your front leg, and we're gonna do the same thing, a little bit of bend and straighten, just, working in the hip joints, working through the knee, don't do anything that's causing pain. But I'll leave info for that in the description of this video if you're interested in joining, because anyone can join live a virtual class any part of the world, but it's at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I know that might be an awkward time for some of you, but it's one where you like sign up ahead and then you join. It's through Zoom. So if that's something you're interested in for a live class, it's usually a 1 hour long, relatively vigorous vinyasa flow class. Let's step to plank. Feel we're ready for a strong pose. Hold your plank here. But I know the live is really helpful for some people. The fact, like, show up and do it then. But I know a lot of people who've been following me on YouTube, that's not necessarily their need. So here, I'm gonna keep this one recorded from here on out. Oh my gosh. All right, down dog, lift up, press the hands to the floor, lift your hips to the air, take a little time with the legs, pedal, pedal, pedal. Head can just hang here. If people walking upstairs, this is another thing. I know you guys can hear the sounds all around me. I know I have the mic, so you can hopefully hear me most, but it drives me crazy when I'm editing my videos. I'm like, you can hear the people walking upstairs. There's a siren going on outside. Someone opened the door to the building, which clangs when you open or close it. I always try to kind of edit the volume on those things, but it's a little tedious. I live in an apartment building. I'm on the second floor. I have people above me. I have people below me. I have a street right outside my window. Go ahead and bring your knees to the floor and let's take some cat-cow stretches. City living, you know, it's not without noises. You're sharing space with your neighbors, which has its pluses and minuses, but very hard to control the noise. So, you know, if you hear it, I used to have a dog that lived below me that would bark and like whine when its owner wasn't there. I always felt a little bad for the dog, but it made it hard to record things. Let's drop to child's pose. Oh, okay, go ahead and lengthen out. Forehead to the floor. Take your knees wide if you'd like here. All right, well, hopefully you're woken up. I feel like it's time we start to get to our feet a little bit. So coming back to down dog, let's take the right leg up, open the hip and bend the knee, point the knee to the sky. And we're gonna step forward for a high lunge. So we were just in a runner's lunge, and really it's the same thing with the feet, but we just bring the upper body up, you know. Reach the arms, lunge deep. Okay, this is a thing I've noticed about myself recently. I have a tendency to push my heels so far back that it literally comes to the ground and is really, it's overstretching in my ankle. So I've tried to work on this, and maybe this is something you notice for yourself too, to push my heel forward over my toes on that back foot. And then if I have to adjust my front foot forward to get the lunge, that's fine. But I feel like it's a little bit better to build the strength of your foot. But you might have the opposite issue where maybe you do need to build the flexibility in your foot and ankle and you want to push the heel back. But I do think we do have options and we don't often see our foot back there. Just notice what yours is doing today. Take the left hand down, right arm up. Let's go for an easy twist here. And then plank, lower down. And if you want to bring your knees down first, maybe heart down, and then cobra, or I'm just going to actually be in a sphinx for a moment here. I need to warm into my back bends. My low back has been a little bit tweaky, you know, like right, not really low back, but like right in the, you know, the hips where you feel that. I'm sure others of you have that experience too, where it just gets a little twingy in there sometimes in back bends. So I just try to be a little gentle, but you can come to cobra when you're ready, when you're feeling it. And then we'll just shift to down dog so we can set up our other side. So take the left leg up and open the hip and bend the knee. I don't know about you, but I love this stretch. I actually think it feels so good to work towards stretching the front of the left leg by turning it open, really trying to push the knee towards the ceiling here, but keep the shoulders level. And then look forward, step forward with the left foot. Knee over ankle, come to your crescent pose high lunge. I am aware that as I am talking, sometimes we're holding these poses a little bit longer. You know, I am aware of it, right? So it's not like it's just inadvertent. It's okay sometimes to spend a little more time in these poses, but when we're doing that, the idea is we want to be, I don't know, refining it little by little, allowing the breath to help us deepen it, making really subtle adjustments to where we are in space to both create a stronger, more, I don't know, specific pose, but also to find ease within it so that we're not straining as we do it. Let's take the right hand down now, left arm up, take your easy twist. And then turn back to the floor. Plank again. Lower down in whatever way feels good to you. So maybe it's chaturanga, maybe it's knees down first. Maybe you like that scoop through. And then cobra pose. Could be up dog if you're ready for it. And then downward facing dog. Lift the hips and hold. to do a sun C today instead of a sun A. I love sun A's, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, ooh, that sun C sounds appealing. Let's walk the feet to the top of the mat. You can step or hop if you want, whatever makes most sense. And let's just roll up to standing, soft knees, roll on up. So here's the deal. You know, this is a shared home yoga practice. We are sharing the time. We are not sharing the space. And if we're not sharing the poses and sequences, that's also okay. But we're sharing a practice. We do not have to do identical things. I'm going to go into some sun Cs and I'll talk through those. But if you're like, but I want a sun A, do your sun A. That's totally fine. Starting at the top of the mat, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, dive to Uttanasana. And then for sun C, step the right foot back. And I'm actually going to hold in this low lunge a few breaths. So lower the right knee, bring the upper body up, just because this is the first time for low lunging in this practice. So I want to give it a little space to breathe. Really, I think in my mind, the difference between the sun A and the sun C is that the lunges are in sun C, and in sun A we do Ardha Uttanasana, the half lift. So, but the flow is otherwise pretty similar. Bring the hands to the mat. Step the left knee to join the right. And this is where you could do that little scoopy thing where you drop the chest and slide through for your cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. And then the right foot steps forward. So sun C, there's kind of two halves to it. We lead with the right the first half, and then we lead with the left the second half, just to kind of make things all symmetrical and nice. Low lunge. Because the right foot's in front now, I'm going to hold in this lunge. Give my body a chance to open and sink into it. And then fingertips to the mat, step the back foot forward. Reverse the swan dive, come up, palms together. So second half we'll be leading with the left. And I'm just going to do one breath per movement here. So inhale, reach. Exhale, dive down. Left foot steps back, low lunge. This is the inhale. Exhale, hands to the mat, lower down. Scoop through for cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward, lower the right knee, low lunge. And exhale, Uttanasana. So you can kind of see where the sun A and the sun C meet. Let's do one more full round, both leading with right and leading with the left. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive forward. So this is where you do Ardha Uttanasana in sun A, but we're doing the low lunge in sun C. But then from sun A, it would be the same thing. You'd take plank and lower chaturanga. Here's where we're scooping through. Inhale, back bend, either one. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward, low lunge again. Again, if you were coming to the top of the mat for a sun A, you'd be in Ardha Uttanasana. And then both sequences, exhale, forward fold Uttanasana. Inhale, reverse the swan dive. Hope that makes sense. I feel like it does. Reach the arms. Inhale, let's do the left side leading. And top of the mat. Let's step out wide for Prasarita Padottanasana, or grab a sip of tea or water or whatever, what have you. Sometimes it's coffee. Today it's English breakfast tea with soy milk. Parallel feet. Let's just do Prasarita. Wide-legged forward fold. No frills. Let your hands come to the floor between your feet. Lift your quads, open the backs of the legs, let your head hang heavy and breathe. I don't like to drink too many fluids while I'm practicing yoga because they sit in your belly and sometimes it's not comfortable, but you know, a sip here or there probably won't hurt us. I do sometimes do wine and yoga, and then I do drink a beverage, but it's an interesting experience, I'll tell you that. Go ahead and come on up, bring your hands to your waist. We're gonna go into warrior two, so turn the right toes open, turn the left toes in. Inhale, reach the arms, and exhale, lunge warrior two. Actually, the most watched video on my YouTube channel is a yoga with wine video. I think I have about 4 of them, but one of them is now at the top above my minimal cues classes. I don't make too many of those because they're fun, but they're a challenge just to keep up with yourself and the wine and the whole thing. But I think that would be a fun class to offer live. So if there's anyone in Chicago who would like to host me for a live yoga and wine class, I think it could be a blast. From here, let's move into half moon pose. So coming into standing balance, onto the right foot, right fingers forward, float the back leg up, reach through it. This is also one of my favorite poses. I don't know, I shouldn't have favorites. I know, they're all good. All of the poses, I love them, but I like half moon. And then if you want, bend the knee and reach behind you for the foot. And this is maybe even better. I love this one, the bow stretch, Ardha Chandra Shavasana. Just feels, I don't know, it feels good. And that's what yoga should do. Go ahead and let's just step back long to kind of a high lunge, plant the palms, and just take a vinyasa here, whatever end of the mat you happen to be facing. Flow through the body. Hold in down dog for a couple good breaths. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step, walk, or hop the feet. Half lift and fold. Reverse the swan dive, float up. And there, see we add the half lift, the Ardha Uttanasana, when we kind of just go through the vinyasa. Let's step out wide. We'll do second variation on Prostrita. Boy, another one of my favorites. Imagine that. Sunday morning, I'm just doing only my favorite poses. That's what your home yoga practice should look like. Interlace fingers behind the back, shoulder blades together, and fold. I love this shoulder stretch. So that's kind of my feeling is like when we practice at home, we practice the poses we love. When we go to a class, that's oftentimes when we challenge ourselves with the poses that are less of our favorites. And it's good for us to do those sometimes, but I feel like if you're committing to trying to do a home yoga practice, like showing up on your mat is like, that's a big deal. So then from there, you can let yourself do what you want. And I think that's more likely to get us to our mat. Go ahead and come on up here. But like the promise of doing the poses that we love, if that gets us to unroll our mat, do it for yourself. Let's turn the left toes open, right toes in. Inhale, reach the arms, and then lunging into warrior two. There are so many poses, like chair pose. I feel like no one loves chair pose. It's grown on me, but it is not my favorite pose. Like, we probably aren't going to do that one most of all in our home yoga practice, but that's okay. Chair pose is there for you whenever you want it when you're taking class. I do conclude it a lot in the classes that I teach, but if the fear of a chair pose is what keeps you off your yoga mat, please give yourself permission to skip it when you're doing your own practice. Take the right hand to your hip and let's come to half moon pose. Well, you don't have to have your hand on your hip to start if you want to, but it is often a lot easier to get into the pose with your hand on the hip and then take it up into the air once you arrive into the balance. And then if you did on the first side, maybe try the Ardha Chandra Shavasana, bending the knee, hold on to the foot, pull the heel away from the hip. I'm curious, in the comments, let me know, do you have favorite poses or poses that are ones that are your biggest challenge? I don't want to say nemesis poses, right? They all have their place, but the ones that are the ones that make you kind of like, oh no, not this pose. Let the foot go, step back, and here's the plank, here's the vinyasa. Maybe it's a sun A. Some people, I think, don't care for sun A's even. Chaturanga is a hard pose, plank, low plank. Who wants to do low plank all day long? They're good for us, yeah. but they might not be the thing that we're excited about when we go to a yoga class. Breathe in down dog. Down dog, this is home, right? I had a yoga teacher tell me that, or tell the class that when I was getting started, and down dog is like breathing, I think is what she said. Down dog is like breathing, and that is sort of how it feels. All right, let's drop the knees to the mat, and I'm mostly doing this because I want a sip of my tea. My throat's getting a little dry. It's because I'm talking too much, I know. All right, let's take a little camel pose here, Ustrasana. So hands behind the hips. And when I say little, it could be very little. So for you, if bringing the hands to the hips and letting the shoulder blades kind of dig underneath you to help lift the chest, if that's enough, see if you can send your hips forward and just find a stretch across the chest. You know, if you want to go deeper, if the heels are tucked and they're like, oh, I reach down, they're right there, go for it. But if you reach down and the arms are just dangling, just put that hand right back on your waist so that your hands are able to ground and anchor, because if the hands are like free floating, it's much harder to move the shoulder blades into the upper back, and that's what actually lifts the chest here. Chin could be in or head could be back, again, if it feels good, but if it feels bad or you can't get your head all the way back and you're left kind of straining your neck in an in-between point, skip the head back part. And then help yourself up, nice and easy. Let's come to a little narrow down dog here. So just narrow, feet and hands are closer together than usual. We can twist under the body here. Left hand to outer right leg, turn through here. And switch to the other direction. Right hand to left leg. Okay. We're going to keep this general distance between hands and feet, but we're going to step the right foot forward. I feel like this is really unconventional to go into revolved triangle when we have not yet done a triangle, but we're going to do it. Left fingers to the ground, right arm up. Here's the thing. Think about lengthening, right? So it's not, if we're just trying to get down and reach the arm up, it's a little, it's a little collapsed. So think about lengthening, reaching the head forward, and then reaching the right arm up. Back heel is down, front leg is straight, but it's that same definition of straight that when we were on our back, it's not locked. Locking out the knee is not really gonna do us any favors, but we should feel like it's stretching. You can also always use a block under your hand here. You know what, let's go into revolve half moon. We did do half moon, so maybe it makes sense to go into revolve half moon here. Left fingers come forward, float that back leg up. And this is gonna be our challenge pose for the day. If you enjoyed Ardha Chandra Shavasana, maybe you will enjoy the revolve version. Bend your lifted knee, reach back with your hand for your foot, pull the heel away from the hip, and give it a go. Don't fall, breathe, stay with it. And then we're gonna step back really, really long. And let's go ahead, and since we've stepped back long, let's take this into, we've already done a low lunge with the upper body up, but lower the back knee and we're gonna lower the chest down. We're gonna bring the arms inside the knee. So walk your right foot out a little bit to give yourself enough space so that your shoulder fits inside of your right knee. And then maybe come to forearms here. Sink in. I'm going to throw a couple options your way because this is where we're getting into a little deep stretching. If you'd like, first of all, stay put. Second of all, let your right knee kind of drop to the side, and you're also rolling on the edge of the foot, so we're kind of keeping that same knee-ankle relationship. But then you could bring your right hand to the inner thigh. I would say let's not push the knee itself, but just right above it. And then as you're doing this, you're pushing the knee away, but you're also pushing your shoulder back and turning your chest open. So that would be one. Next would be, okay, that knee is kind of just gonna fall on its own with gravity. Take the right arm up and then lean it back to twist your chest open further. Okay, final stage. This is not gonna be for everyone, but if it's for you, give it a shot. Bend the back knee, so that left knee, and we're gonna reach behind with the hand for the foot. Open. Kind of the same mode as Ardha Chandra Shavasana and even the revolve. We could pull the heel in, but think about instead pulling the foot away, and so we're getting a bit of that tension of a bow stretch. Okay, now when you're ready, release that. If you have your forearms on the floor, I just mentioned a low plank. Now I feel like we must do it. Float the back knee up, back toes are tucked, and then scooch walk that right foot back. Okay. I know, nobody's favorite. We're just going to be here for a few breaths. If low plank is your favorite, I would love to know that. That would be such exciting information for me to hear. And then lower down. And let's do like a classic bow here with both feet where we're not worried about our balance. We're just gonna see if we can reach back. Keep it as small as you want. So maybe those thighs stay on the floor and it's just a gentle pull. But if you're feeling you've got a little more in you can let the legs lift off the ground. Back bends are invigorating, right? They can actually like kind of amp up our nervous system. So they might feel a little, I don't know, but we get a charge from them. You don't want them to hurt though. That didn't make a whole lot of sense as I said it. Okay, let that go. Cobra, down dog. A little bug on my mat. Okay, let's go ahead and walk the feet and hands a little closer together again. So we did this before. We're headed towards revolve triangle. The left foot's gonna come forward. I'm actually turn around. I think I can keep facing you this way. Left foot comes forward. About, I don't know, less than you'd have between your feet if you were in a lunge, but you want to be able to have the back heel down and the front leg pretty straight. Lift and lengthen. I like to think, if I was thinking of Ardha Uttanasana with my torso, that's kind of what we're doing here. Right fingers align with left toes and then left arm up. Revolve triangle. All right, and then revolve half moon. So right fingers come forward, and we can ideally just kind of lean into it. We don't even need to bend that front knee. We're just leaning, lifting the back heel, lifting until your left foot's got your weight. Just float that right leg up. That's the idea. That's the idea. Okay, and then if you did on the first side, lift the leg, bend the knee, find the foot with your hand, pull the heel away from the hip. Everything here is optional. Please don't fall. Falling also optional. Not my preference. Okay, and then when we let go of the foot or when we release the foot back, we're gonna step back really, really long. And we might need to step the left foot a little further forward because we were in kind of that narrow down dog. Lower the right knee, and we'll take this to our stretch. Extend the back toes. Walk the left foot out, creating some space. So we can lower the upper body down. Lower down to the forearms if you can. If you can't, just you're on your palms. You could even be on a block with your forearms. That works too. And maybe this is enough. So this is actually a yin stretch called dragon. It kind of goes into this shape where we're just kind of letting gravity help us to sink in the hips. If you want to though, let the left knee lean and maybe a little gentle push right up above the knee with your left hand. Turning the chest open. Maybe that left arm comes up and leans back behind you so the weight of the arm is helping to open the heart, the chest. And then finally, for those of you whose hamstrings won't cramp up if you do this, bend the back knee, find the foot, and open more. I actually think this stretch feels really wonderful, but I know it's probably not for everyone, but if you can get there, then there's a lot of like kind of push, pull, open, stretch. All your parts kind of work together. It's a little bit of the pretzel-y thing that we think of with yoga, I guess, but I think it feels good. Okay, let that go. Forearms to the ground. Tuck your right toes as you let those come down. Float the right knee. Scooch walk. Bring that left foot back. Forearm plank. We'll just take like 5 breaths. I used to lead an interval workout class. And this was one station, 1 minute, held forearm plank. It was everybody's favorite. And by everybody, I mean nobody's. All right, when you're ready, let yourself lower. I don't know if that was 5 breaths. It was enough. Let's lower down. Take another soft bow pose. Gentle, easy bow pose. Just a little stretch for the shoulders. And then release that to cobra. And then downward facing dog. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I feel like we've done a bunch of things. Let's take the knees to the floor. And let's drop, okay, so knees to the floor. Let's drop to the left hip. I'm turning all around here just to stay facing. Take the right leg over, sit bones down, and just a little bit of a twist to your right. Turn your torso, breathe here. I think it's rainy today in my city. I always talk about the weather as I'm turning this way because I'm looking out my window. And then let's just switch the twist. All right, so coming out of the twist, let's go into Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees wide, heels in, and then lean forward. Well, this was a bit of an arc, I feel like, this class. Like, we started off way slow, and then we kind of took it to a few challenges, and now we're gonna definitely wind down. Leaning in, breathing, sighing, anything that feels good, sipping your beverage. Again, it's like the shock of, like, you know, if we'd have just been like, hey, hit your mat, let's do revolve Ardha Chandraya Shavasana with the leg bend, right? You know, or whatever. Like, that would have been like, no. So it's like we gently ease ourselves into our practice. We let ourselves go into the deep end for a short period of time. And then we gently ease ourselves out so we can go back to our lives, but hopefully our body gets all the benefit of all the little juicy bits that we took care of in the practice. All right, and then coming up nice and easy, let's take the legs out and we'll take a good Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Let's give ourselves permission to hold this one a little bit longer. Flex the feet, engage the quads so that we're doing the muscle toning here for this pose. And it starts in Dandasana, really, right? So we're really upright, the hands press into the floor. We're feeling the alignment here. The legs are toned. We reach the arms up on an inhale. And now we want to keep the legs toned, but that upper body, we're gonna start folding at our waist, right? So we don't wanna just round at the top. We wanna fold here, but we also wanna allow for a drape, allow for just like an arc or an arch here to happen. We don't need to keep our back stiff. We wanna be able to relax the upper body and allow it to evenly sink down. And then we just say, hey, gravity, show me what you got. We keep the legs toned and we let the weight of the body leaning forward do all the work of the stretching. We're not pulling with our hands. We're not trying to push. We're just letting go. Stay with your breath. 2 more full deep breaths here. And then gently coming up really slowly. If this felt like a deep stretch, again, you want to leave it easily so as to not shock your body. Shake the legs out, and then let's come back to a cross-legged position here. Nice and easy. As always, I encourage you to spend a little time in Shavasana just to really complete your practice. But I want to end from here with you. So palms together in front of the heart. Maybe close your eyes. Turning your focus inward for a sec. And I always love this moment to check in and see how you're feeling. Is how you're feeling now any different than how you were feeling at the top of class? Is there something positive about how you're feeling now? Remember that next time you're wondering whether or not you should take the time to unroll your yoga mat. Oftentimes it's getting to your mat that's the hardest part. From there, you can kind of do what you want to, and hopefully you notice this feeling at the end that makes it all worthwhile. Well, I hope you enjoyed the practice today. I know I did. Thank you for keeping me accountable to my mat. The light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste. All right, well, as always, let me know if you have any questions or comments. As I mentioned, I'm going to try to post this not live next time, but we'll still be doing some practices like this in the future going forward, just to say that. And then I do have a class coming up this Tuesday. So on Tuesday evenings, I generally always have, every other week, I have a minimal cues class that goes live on Tuesday evenings. So you'll see that this week, this coming week. And I think that's all I got for you. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to take my Monday night live stream virtual class, and that one you'd sign up for, and it's like a $10 drop-in for that class, and then it's a full hour. It's a good vigorous practice if you like that on a Monday night. So I will catch you all soon. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I'm grateful for you all. Bye-bye. I say goodbye and then I still have to stop it, so